pages to say what I need to say. And so the poets indulge me by letting me read sometimes a chapter at a time to them. Needless to say, I'm not going to inflict any of that on you tonight. But I'm going to read 2 of my own pieces, and then I'm going to read from the book 2 poems by people who can't be here tonight. And I'm going to hesitate between each of those poems so Rory can make a change, because he's doing a YouTube for us back there. My guess is that many of you here are not originally from Cedar Key, and in fact that many of you here just spend your winters here. How many people are just here for the winter? So you're a lot of snowbirds, but a lot of people who do really live here. I'm surprised. Well, we've been coming here for about 18 years, and we originally started off coming here for 6 days. So we drive down for 2 days, stay for 6 days, and then, you know, drive back. And then the next, when we stopped working, we started staying for a month. And then we stayed for 2 months, then we stayed for 3 months, and now we're up to 4 months. But I think those of you who don't live here and come back, you know, just for winters, there is nothing more thrilling than crossing the number 4 bridge and seeing the Gulf bays on either side. I mean, actually, I'm tearing up here. It's that kind of thing. And I always feel that. But I especially felt that when I first came, because I'm not somebody who would normally have ever come to Florida. I don't come from West Virginia. My family did not come to Florida. And so I'm going to read it's kind of a hybrid between a prose poem and a memoir, because you can see it has lots of words, so I can never get enough words out of there to break it into lines. And it's about that experience, and I wrote it maybe a couple years after I started coming here. And it's called Paradise. Again, we're from upstate New York, so we're coming from, you know, very cold weather. And at this time, we were coming from Queens. We now live near Cooperstown, New York. Paradise. From the rumple of pre-dawn Queens, shore south on 95, to almost Savannah by dark. Still cold, but we're full of what's coming. Heat, palm trees, and pelicans. Heavy wraps lifted. Then that last stretch through the back bayou, tides in. And mostly we walk to places we've been. Along the Gulf Road, dozens of brown pelicans still convene on that abandoned boathouse. This bird, who headfirst dives 60 feet to grab menhaden, surfaces, then tosses the gleaming flash live into its dark pouch. Golden crowned back, swallows whole. We watch one such fish thump the walls of its captor's belly. Then down to the docks, lined with camp chairs of fisher people. One woman, feet on the rail, her pole between those feet, here, where I want to be. Up the side streets, from the waterfront's ever-rising condos, cracker cottages, tin roofs and burnished clapboards, hunkered low on a few squat stones, where the real locals live. Not for them these houses high on poles. Bring on the hurricane and tidal wave, the summer stink of fish and sticky noons, bugs. No one resides in paradise. Still, it's strange no one's out along the way in this wonder of air, sky, pansies in January. Why I need seasons, that jar of change to wake me up. Low tide, crossing the mud flat at the end of the single airport runway, we're startled by a swath of motion, the scuttle of fiddler crabs, fleeing footfalls, the males hefting their one vivid claw, needed for courting, their swagger of claim, and leaving behind its last struggle written in sand, one dead horseshoe, more spider than crab, unchanged for 300 million years. Try that for getting down to size. We come upon a bush, burning orange with butterflies. More than we see all summer back home, you say. Viceroys, Malarian mimic of monarchs, whose larvae silk-wrap chewed bits to the leaf's mid-rib, come cold, roll up to form their own hypernaculum. Time and heat, from winter quarters we emerge. And the next one I'm going to read actually is a poem. And I guess, as Graham said, you'd call it a list poem. And it's called Flesh. Here's to flesh, silky flesh, and oh yes, bones. 3 cheers for ridges, hip and jaw. Let's celebrate the clavicle and the patella, all the spaces where my fingers, toes, and tongue dance upon the bony borders of your body. Swirl and sweep and sway, the tarantella and the minuet. Here's to the funny places, to gnarled knees and hairy toes, to nostrils and to knuckles. To the frog king, that sweet swaggerer in all his phallic finery. Bravo, bravo. Here's to flesh, haunch and shoulder, fat and brawn. Hurrah to frail and fickle, yielding flesh and jutting bone. Are you switched?